The Aces have another chance at history, all tied up versus the Indiana Fever tomorrow night. They can punch their ticket into the WNBA Finals. This time on Sin City Beat, we're breaking down Game 4, previewing Game 5, and so much more. Let's do this thing.
From Las Vegas, this is Sin City Beat.
Hello and welcome. This is Sin City Beat. I'm Mike Davis. Sin City Beat is the show that dissects the Vegas sports world through the eyes of the sports reporters and storytellers leading the charge. Joining the action today, we have Case Kiefer, assistant sports editor and writer with the Las Vegas Sun, Willie G. Ramirez of WGRamirez.com, and our very own Mariah Jano, sports reporter with Fox 5 Las Vegas. So thanks so much for being here. So the Aces have their eyes set on a third finals appearance in 4 years. Currently, they find themselves in a tight semifinals battle, a best-of-5 game series all tied up at 2. Now the Aces will host the Indiana Fever tomorrow night at Michelob Ultra Arena. The winner is set to take on the Phoenix Mercury in the WNBA Finals. But before we look ahead, let's break down what happened last night. So Willie, what went wrong for the Aces in Game 4?
I don't necessarily think it's a matter of what went wrong for the Aces as much as it is what went right for the Fever. They have become a team that is really played together as one with all the injuries that have taken place. And the core of that team that we're seeing right now has been in place before the likes of Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark and others that arrived to form the team, including Sophie Cunningham, Sid Colson. That sort of core has been there with the likes of Aaliyah Boston. Kelsey Mitchell has been there since day one. That's her team, by the way, not Caitlin Clark's. She's been the leader of that team. So this is a team that's sort of been waiting to get this momentum flowing together. And now they're just coached by a really good coach that has it's put that talent, those personalities together in the right place at the right time. So I think that they just ran into a really good Indiana Fever team on the right night. Now I will say 32-11 was the discrepancy, I believe, 34-11, 32-11 of free throws. Now 11 of those free throws were in crunch time in the fourth quarter, trying to sort of salvage some time there for the Aces. But nevertheless, there was a big free throw discrepancy, and I know there's been a big question mark on the referees, but not going to put any of these games on the referees because the Aces still have to come out and play their game.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think it's what they did wrong as much as what the Fever did right to stay alive.
All right, now, Mariah, what do you think?
I was just going to say, this is the third time that we've seen Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell go off and help their team avoid elimination in this postseason. The 1-2 punch there has been so fun to watch, but this Fever team shouldn't be taken lightly at all. I feel like the second we heard the Aces Fever matchup, people were like, no Caitlin Clark, no Sophie Cunningham. This team is injured. They lack depth. This is going to be an easy series win for the Aces, easier than the first round against the Storm, arguably. And we've seen the complete opposite of that. And it just, to Willie's point, this team has played so complete and they're so quick that if you don't show up with your A game, they are going to beat you to the basket. And I think that's what we saw.
Case, how different would this series look if Caitlin Clark was in this series playing?
I mean, you'd have to say it probably looks a little bit different. There's just so many injuries. You compound all those. It's been so close. You think maybe they could swing a game. Maybe the Aces are in more trouble. But, yeah, I don't know. You know, the Aces, I think, kind of are a victim of their own success. They made it look so easy to us for so long. Now we've seen them go to do-or-die elimination games and back-to-back series. It's a little bit of a different feeling. But, yeah, it seems like they're catching the Fever at the right time. If they don't pull off this Game 5, it will kind of feel like they let one get away.
It's interesting stuff. Willie, I'm curious with your standpoint, your take on all this. Game 4 obviously didn't go the way they wanted. Now we go to Game 5. The home court advantage from the WNBA perspective, Michelob Ultra Arena, Game 5, how critical is that for the Aces?
Well, not just the home court, but coming home after the game yesterday, it was an early game, coming home and sleeping in their own beds.
Yeah.
And then sleeping in their own beds again on Monday going into Tuesday. Makes a big difference. You're traveling and now you're having to stay in the hotel and, you know, shuttle over to the arena for practice or shoot around, whatever. That makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that it's more than home court advantage on game day. It's the fact of coming home, sort of being in your own setting, being in your own atmosphere. A lot of these ladies, what they don't realize, they're either into their faith, they're into meditation, they're into sort of their calm and their quiet. Jewel Lloyd, Dana Evans off the bench, Asia, they're sort of into their own thing in terms of relaxation mode and getting sort of zoned into while they look ahead. And I think that's what helps more than just saying we're going to step on the court at Michelob Ultra Arena and Indiana's the away team.
See?
So I think that is a big intangible.
There you go. The intangibles. That's what you get at WGRamirez.com. I have it bookmarked.
Okay.
It's on my bookmark. On all my laptop, my phone. That's where I go.
I'll pay you later.
Thank you. Okay, here we go. Of course, there would be no competing for championships without one person, A'ja Wilson. Where would the Aces be without their star player? Case is going to have first crack after we come back.
You're watching Sin City Beat.
A'ja Wilson is the epitome of MVP. Fresh off a 31-point performance, her 17th career 30-point playoff game, she became the 7th player in league history to reach 1,000 points in the playoffs. So number 22 is 29 and already one of the all-time greats. This season becoming the first player ever in WNBA history to win 4 MVP awards. So Case, where would this team be without A'ja? It's hard to imagine.
Well, they sure as heck wouldn't be playing right now. I mean, maybe they still sneak into the playoffs. I guess I know the bottom of the league was pretty bad this year. Although, I mean, they were even in trouble and missing the playoffs with her healthy before they went on this huge losing streak. So, I mean, I think, we throw around superlatives a lot for a lot of athletes. It's easy to gloss over. But I honestly think we could even make more of just how dominant A'ja Wilson is. You talk about 4-time MVP. Really should probably even be 5-time. And the voter base never wants to give back-to-back MVPs. And she just did so much down the stretch this year that she couldn't be denied. I think she's the first back-to-back MVP in like 20 years. I just think we're witnessing something truly special, and maybe we should all just take a sit back and really appreciate what we're seeing, because this is greatness that's going to be unmatched for many, many years, in my opinion.
Yeah, Mariah, hailing from the Boston area, a lot about GOATs, Yes. Tom Brady, of course. Where does how special and unique in all your expertise of covering all the different fields of sport, how crazy and how rare is A'ja Wilson the athlete?
It is so incredible to watch her because she is so consistent. Sure, a couple of games ago, 13 points. That was uncharacteristic for her, and everyone has those nights here and there, but she really has been the epitome of consistency from the jump. Even while this team was struggling in the first half of the season, she was that consistent factor. The same with how last year's season started eerily similar. And again, she put the team on her back and kept delivering, and she never once wavered from that. I think it's an incredible talent. Like Kay said, I think we haven't really appreciated it. We're watching history in the making, and I think we're so used to seeing her do her thing that it's not clocking to us just how rare of a talent that she is. But I think going back to Case's point about the MVP voting, it was a landslide this year, and rightly so, but it hasn't been that in years past. And she's been snubbed in years past, or she's even landed some 4th place votes in years past, which has had people up in arms. But this was so clear, 51 first place votes out of 72 voters. So I think that speaks volumes to what we're seeing and how high of a regard she is being held in, and the respect she is finally getting around the league.
Yeah, Willie, you appreciate a good suit, a good sport coat. You look like the guy who would appreciate a nice cognac or a cigar, something sophisticated, something just look at the way that he holds his hands, right? That's a guy who appreciates things. Have you, in all your sports reporting, freelancing, covering this league extensively, have you ever found yourself not appreciating the A'ja Wilson factor? Is it hard for even you sometimes to just think, okay, how rare is this person?
Well, it's funny that the third leg of this segment, that's the question, because Sunday, the three of us were at the Raiders game. And before the game, generally, we socialize in the media dining room. One of the reporters, we were sitting there talking, and I literally said, I think that A'ja Wilson is probably the best ambassador in professional sports that this town has had to date. That includes the Golden Knights from the inaugural season to now what would be probably Jack Eichel, the Raiders, which probably, I guess people would say Derek Carr when they got here, and now Max Crosby. A'ja Wilson is the best professional athlete to wear a Las Vegas uniform. Maybe not all together since day one, like Las Vegas all-time pro athletes. You have Andre Agassi, you have Greg Maddux, so on and so forth. But A'ja Wilson, hands down, on and off the court, no matter what's going on in her life, no matter what's going on post-game, win or lose, has always taken the time. I'm seeing a lot of ridicule on social media this postseason for all the teams, the referees, I get it. But when you talk about professionalism, when you talk about a person that represents a city, that represents her family, that represents the name on the back of her jersey, that represents an organization, there is probably not a better professional athlete that's worn a Las Vegas uniform than A'ja Wilson on and off the court.
There you go. Can't say it any better. All right, so beyond A'ja, who else has been a key factor in the Aces' surge? More Sin City Beat after these words. All right, welcome back to Sin City Beat. Mike Davis here with you. So the Aces didn't start off the season so hot, but this team has since turned it around, making magic happen with a new look roster. So Mariah, I'm curious, who do you think has been the player or the couple players that have really contributed the most to this season turnaround?
Yeah, well, I have to give credit to Willie. The last time we talked about the Aces on this show, I think it was beginning of the season, maybe mid-season, when things were rough. And he said they have to get some sort of mid-season acquisition. They did just that with NaLyssa Smith, and it has taken the load off of A'ja Wilson, really freed her up. She has become so effective in the front court, and just her disruption on the glass. She's down low, she's on the cut, like she's everywhere, and she has been so clutch for this team in the scoring and adding size as well to this roster, because this was just loaded with guards originally, and that was part of the issue here. So NaLyssa Smith, absolutely, but then when you look at guard play, I got to give credit. Dana Evans has been so fun to watch this season. To me, she's Jackie Young 2.0. She's on the way. And Jewel Lloyd coming off the bench. Becky originally refused to put her on the bench when she asked to be on the bench, and then Becky finally gave in, and you look at that fresh set of legs coming in a little bit later in the game, it really has given this team a boost. So I think the combination of those three, these newer additions to the team, have really helped in the turnaround that we've seen.
Yeah, Willie, have you, what did you think as the season was kicking off, things weren't looking so hot? Did you think this team just doesn't have it this year? There's no way they're going to be in this position when it comes this time, September, October?
It was more like a concern, but I always believed, I had the same thought process that Becky and A'ja were like, it's going to turn around. It was more or less, who are they going to get? And as Mariah pointed out, if you remember, I had said, if they bring in someone like Tina Charles, but they bring in NaLyssa. But the one person that I was sort of waiting for to turn her game around was Chelsea Gray. Chelsea Gray had started off slow, and last year, she was, she injured her foot, then she goes into Unrivaled. She says at media days she's feeling healthy, she's feeling great. She looked slow. She looked like she was losing a step. I was watching younger guards beat her off the first step, and I was like, Chelsea's aging. So I asked her in the post-game press conference, I said, Chelsea, all of a sudden the last week or two, is it just us, or what's taking place? She goes, no, it's y'all. It's been there. But Becky said, no, Chelsea's right, but she wasn't playing like Chelsea Gray. Now she is. Chelsea Gray is the person, the glue for everybody, even A'ja Wilson, right? So now you add, as Mariah said, NaLyssa Smith, who A'ja calls her twin. Jackie's got the pressure off of her of trying to figure out, do I go to Jewel? Does Jewel come to me? What are we doing? And the collection of things. And then you have Chelsea just steering the ship.
Yeah.
So Chelsea Gray is really, let's not forget, she's a champion from LA. She's got a lot of experience. She's got Olympic experience. She's got leadership experience. So she comes here. To Mariah's point with Jewel, she won a couple of championships with Seattle, right? Who else did you bring up? Dana Evans has a championship ring in Chicago.
Wow.
Let's not forget about that. So there's a lot of championship rings coming off the bench. Kia Stokes, we haven't even brought her up. She's fourth off the bench, and she won 2 championships with this team as a starter.
So there's a lot of people, this roster is really filled with a lot of championship pedigree. And Case, great points here from both Mariah and Willie. Your take on this, hearing everything Mariah and Willie has said, to me, it's like, okay, well, this is a great indicator of a tremendous front office putting together this kind of team when a lot of people thought Kelsey Plumsley, all these people, it was a new look roster. So what's your take on what, this late season surge? How much has the front office had to do with this?
Yeah, we all just wax poetic about A'ja Wilson, rightfully so. I think when you have a player this transcendent, this great, that the only job as a front office is to make sure you maximize her potential, get people in the right spots. And I think with the roster turning over, that was a little bit of a struggle early in the season. You had to go through those growing periods. I'm going to say I'm dumber than Willie because I was writing them off. I didn't think they had this run in them, but the front office kept at it. I think the Nalissa Smith trade, went better than anyone ever could imagine. Perfect compliment to Asia. You bring her out. And then Jewel Lloyd going to the bench. I was really down on Jewel Lloyd too. And how many times do we hear players say, I'll do whatever it takes to win, I'll do this, but especially a player of her caliber, I think it has to be in the back of your mind, like, is she really going to embrace this role? And she's done it, and she's really given them a better second unit minutes. So I think all around there's a lot of praise to go.
All right. This is why I love this show, because look how much I'm learning from you. I feel so much smarter after that segment. Guys, next up, we're previewing the action of Game 5. Don't go anywhere. Michelob Ultra Arena is set for Game 5 action tomorrow night. The Aces hosting the Fever. The winner goes to the WNBA Finals. Willie, what do the Aces need to do to win, and what's your prediction for Game 5?
I think they have to come out and punch Indiana in the mouth. Not literally, not figuratively, but just come out and play their game. We know Asia Wilson's going to do that. It's a matter of which gunner is going to do it. Is it going to be Jackie Wilson? Is it going to be Nalissa Smith underneath? Is Jewel Lloyd, who is coming in around the 5-minute mark the first time out, coming in around the 3-minute mark? Who's getting hot from the perimeter and who's driving and kicking to Asia? But they have to do that early. They also have to be cognizant of the officials' crew and see which way they're calling it, how tight they're calling it. Plus 26, that is the shot differential from the free throw line in favor of the Fever through the first 4 games. It was plus 23 in Game 4. So that's another thing. Is the call's going to go in favor of the Aces? Is it going to go in favor of the Fever? Are they going to lay back? They have to monitor what the officials are doing, and they have to come out in the first quarter and set the tone early.
Case, if Asia plays Asia basketball, right, comes out and has that 30-point performance that we all know and love, is it a shoo-in for victory in your mind?
It's certainly hard seeing them lose like that. I know it's hard to kind of project whatever's going to happen with the referees in this league, but typically you see an elimination game, the last game, it's going to be a little bit tighter whistle. I hate being a sports cliche here and say the thing, but I feel like the tougher team has won like almost every series in this game. So to me, if I'm the Aces, I want to go out there like Willie said, get your licks in early. I think you need to be ready to be strapped up, eat some contact, and if they're the tougher team, I think they'll ultimately win. And Asia will have a big game like you talked about.
What's your key to victory, Mariah?
Well, I think it is this Fever team is so quick in getting up and down the floor that the Aces need to almost beat them there, especially in transition game. That's going to be huge. Their defense has to be in place. Becky Hammond's been preaching it since the moment she took over this team. The defense is what's going to fuel this team. They're big on their transition game, so I think that's going to be it. Asia Wilson, back to your question, if she pops off, is it a locked-in win? Absolutely not. She dropped 31 points in the loss. It's not, yes, she needs to show up and play her game, but it's not going to come down to her. It is going to come down to the players around her in that secondary scoring.
Willie, if they win this game, first of all, is your prediction a win?
I think the Aces win at home.
And then how do they match up? I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm sorry about this. But how do they match up in the next round against the Mercury?
It's not going to be easy because Nate Tebbets has that system in place. And you're talking about people like Alyssa Thomas and Kalia Copper, who was a WNBA Finals MVP, DeWanna Bonner. There are pieces to that puzzle that started last year and that they formed around them when Diana Taurasi retired and Brittany Griner went to Atlanta. And Nate Tebbets, same mindset, by the way. South Dakota roots like Becky Hammond, so that'll be an interesting storyline. But the fact is that defensive tenacity, #1 defensive efficiency team in the postseason, they match up great, and it's going to make for an incredible series. Actually, whoever makes it, it'll be a defensive match. But I think Phoenix can get Indiana in 5. Phoenix and Vegas go to 7.
Wow. Okay, I like that. Now, Case, interesting question for you. Who has more pressure on them to win Game 5 tomorrow night? Or do the Aces with the pedigree, the championships, is it harder on them?
I gotta say the Aces have more pressure on them. Just you have the best player in the world. You have this great run. You've made history with the way you've ended the season. It's gonna kind of all feel for naught if you don't. Then in the Fever, this kind of feels like all a bonus. No one expected them to beat the Dream in the first round. I mean, right or wrong, we said they had all these injuries. They don't have a chance. You feel like the Fever are gonna have more chances in years to come. I think the pressure is squarely on the home team.
So you feel the same way, Mariah?
Absolutely. The second Caitlin Clark went down, people were writing off the Fever. So like Case just said, it's just the cherry on top. This is just an added little fun thing that the Fever have made it to the semifinal round. It would be incredible if they advanced to the finals with all the injuries that they have on their roster. But yeah, the Aces have just gone on this unprecedented run. It needs to end in a finals appearance, I think.
Willie, last thing, we got about 2 minutes here. I'm just curious, as I geek out on sports media, sports business, all that kind of stuff, I think a lot of people at home are the same as me. Have you noticed, in terms of traffic, you write a lot of pieces, you do ESPN Radio, WGRamirez.com, another plug in there for you. Have you noticed a distinction in traffic? Would this series be getting a lot more notoriety and looks and just numbers online if Caitlin Clark was playing? You're big on social with WNBA stuff. I'm curious to hear your take.
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters that she's in the game or not. The traffic is there. The traffic is there because, let me put it to you this way, okay? If you look at the Aces bench, if somebody's injured, when Chicago was here at T-Mobile, Angel Reese and Haley Van Lith were at the end of the bench. The reserves were right there next to the coaching staff. The Indiana Fever bench, Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark are next to the coaches. All the reserves are at the end of the bench. They are the focal point. They call it the bench mob. They're on every social media post. Everybody can do it. They write their lead. They're making sure they're putting Caitlin Clark or bench mob in their lead for SEOs. So whether she's in it or not, that's the other thing that people are claiming. Well, they still want the Fever in the finals. WNBA is rigging it because as long as Caitlin Clark is somewhere, they're cool. Clicks are coming.
My TikTok is literally full of just cutaway shots of the two of them on the bench being clowns.
Case, you and I, we're
By the way, Mariah's a must follow on TikTok.
There you go. Must follow on TikTok.
Do it.
I gotta get an account first.
Same with Case Kiefer and WG Ramirez. Guys, I'm Mike Davis. Thanks so much for joining us. Our panel was tremendous. Go Aces. We'll see what happens. We'll see you next time here on Sin City Beat.